She spoke softly, calmly, with peace taking over her tongue as she spoke about her story. As I was captivated by her words, I glanced at her eyes and saw excitement, as though she was 12 again and was speaking about the boy who left her a love note on her desk, or perhaps like that of a 7-year-old who found her favorite doll under the Christmas tree. But the excitement was not driven by the recollection of childhood memories you and I may expect. She spoke about being away, in her home country, taking care of her younger sister while she was still young herself. A teenager, big sister, dreamer, turned temporary mother as she helped raise her little sister. While her mother was in America, they were left behind in their native country. She mentioned to me her younger sister even began to call her Mommy. I asked myself, how could she speak of the moments her teenage years were robbed, her youth replaced with motherhood, and the absence of her own mother, with jitters, a smile, and excitement? I'm sure it hurt her. I'm sure it haunted her. But I also learned it drove her. She survived. Her sister survived. Her family survived the trials and tribulations of immigration, and she felt comfort in that. The moments she spent without her mother were temporary, while her mother gained balance in America. This moment of sacrifice was also the beginning to the end of her struggle in her native country. Today, she is thankful she is here. She says she's better off than where she was before. She says America has provided her economic stability. However, I hope she knows I am sorry. Sorry on behalf of what she had to endure to reach such stability. I am sorry American imperialism was a major reason for the economic unrest and crime she fled. I am sorry she had to be away from her mother. I am sorry she had to grow up so soon. She is brave, resilient, and her family is too. I am happy she is here with me, sharing her story, and I thank her immensely for teaching me to be humble in my adversities. This man had just showered, in a tub made of fragile ceramic youthful dreams, with organic soap labeled missed opportunities, the water drowning his skin in regret. I could tell the shower was not your conventional one, yet one full of despair, because in front of me stood a man that reeked. This 50-year-old nameless man was drenched in regret, anger towards his younger self, perhaps towards the world. I have yet to know exactly. But I do know he and his immigrant story were drenched in a lot of awful feelings. He spoke loudly, unapologetically loud, about how successful he was in his native country. He was a big boss, until he wasn't. Laid off, he describes the cause of his rise and fall. Suits and ties, suits that tied him to the upper middle class. He was friends with various successful women and men, he told me. Originating from a poor family, studying in college with holes in his shoes, his rise to the upper class was praiseworthy and astronomical. Anyone hearing this would hear a man who bragged, whose only stench was that of ego. But this man stenched, I tell you, he stenched of regret. He was hurt. Sitting here in this local restaurant was not a boss or a well-off 20-year-old. It was a man who works 14-hour days, but whose children still feel guilty about asking for new shoes after theirs have worn out. I don't see bragging. I see a man that returns to his successful days to ease his pain of decline and struggle. I sit here listening to him, hoping he knows it was not his fault for believing in the American dream. I hope he knows it's okay he didn't accomplish what he wanted to. The American dream is a hard one to achieve, especially for those that look like him. For those whose tongues stop, drop, and roll its R's. After all, prosperity in America is reserved for only a few. I hope he knows his story isn't somehow one for the gutters and trash. He still makes an effort to be great, to be wealthy emotionally, mentally, financially. I hope he covers his stench of regret with the cologne of hope and peace that he tried, with the cologne of forgiveness. As I sit in front of him, I silently plead him to forgive his 20-year-old self, who didn't know any better. I hope that next time he showers in recollection, he gives himself and his younger self a break. He has taught me that I should give myself a break. He is brave, resilient. Hopefully one day he'll understand that better. Immigration is complex, emotionally, mentally, politically. I urge those who don't know the experiences of hardworking immigrants to ask those around them, and to those who are related to the immigrant story themselves, to continue asking, to learn more about the life stories that shape us. Ask the immigrant from your local bodega, the ones you interact with at your school, the restaurant owner of that food that reminds you of home, or that opens your taste buds to parts of the world you have yet to discover. What pain, hope, and sacrifice accompanied them on their journey here? There is much to learn when we ask.